Hey guys, how's everybody doing? See if we got good volume here. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So happy Tuesday night. Kind of behind the eight ball here a little bit. I apologize. Kind of a normal a theme for me to be trying to get the show set up last minute, but so you guys know, last Tuesday I came back from South Georgia Motorsports Park, and let me see if I can get the I need to get the comments up here. Okay, so I think the comments are up there. There we go. Hey, Bill, Rick, Ryan. Hey, man, how you guys doing? So, yeah, so we were last week. I was up at South Georgia Motorsports Park with the Smurf. Tuesday and Wednesday, I worked on the Smurf, getting ready for the winter, and then this Thursday, I left for Orlando for the World Street Nationals. So haven't been in the shop much in the last 2 weeks, but we'll go over some race results. Got some stuff in the shop that get delivered while I was out of town, and I got some the tires mounted on the wheels for the Vet Hawk. So we got some updates on that. That's pretty much the going-ons of last week. So Bill was up at Street and Yeet, which is a kind of interesting name, but it was I think a 3 or 4 day drive and drag. They got Bill told me Don and himself had Don and Bill both had a good time. Car ran well, and so that was pretty cool. But trying to figure out what I got some things I got to organize here and stuff like that. But I guess we'll just fly by the seat of our pants here. So trying to get the Vet Hawk project advanced, and just about ready to put an order in for some roll bar tubing so we can get going on that. But now I do have the wheels and tires mounted on that, so I'll show you guys some pictures of that. Came out real well, and of course now I can work on ride heights and all that kind of stuff. I got the yesterday I got the engine parts, the block and the heads, crank, rods and pistons from the machine shop for the Olnick project. So we'll be starting to assemble the 8.1 liter big block Chevy for Scott's Olnick hauler. Better get the engine and trans in that thing and make that thing a real nice driver with the new power plant in there. So that should be really good. Yesterday I was working on Joe's Corvette, Joe Conte's Corvette. I did an wheel alignment to it. I've been really busy, and he wanted to get the car in the shop, so we discussed that he had another group of guys that he had worked on his cars before, so he went ahead and took it to them to have the suspension upgrades done and the some of the interior stuff and Dakota digital gauges and all that stuff. So I was fine with that, and they had aligned the car and kind of got it messed up, and the car was wandering around the road pretty good. So I went up to DNR Automotive, my old employment, my buddy Doug's shop, and I aligned his car, and that came out real nice. And we're gonna I'm call him tomorrow and have him bring the Camaro down and get that. Got a couple little things to get done on that, so maybe I might get him to bring that down Thursday. But couple things that we got in the shop. I've been looking for a dog box 4-speed transmission for the NASCAR. Kind of get that thing converted to a full-time road course car. So I found one on Facebook Marketplace. I did my due diligence and figured the guy was legit. Went ahead and paid him, and he shipped it, and it came in last Friday. And we'll go over some of that stuff. So I guess we'll go ahead and let's go ahead and show the pictures of the Vet Hawk with the new wheels put on. Let me open up some pictures here. There we go. So that's unfortunately I just got the wheels mounted tonight, so kind of tried to take some pictures, and unfortunately I got a good picture of the under hood light. But I was trying to show the footprint of the car. There's a fairly good shot. I think the wheels are going to obviously they look really cool, and I think it's going to make the car look really nice. Pop the tail lights in so we get kind of get a full visual of the back of the car. There's the other side with the door in place, so it kind of fulfills the picture a little better. I'm real happy with the wheels. The offset for the Corvette chassis, I don't know why, when I originally envisioned the build, I kind of thought the wide body was really going to be super wide compared to the Corvette chassis, but still wide enough. I did end up with a pretty decent lip on the rear wheels. The front wheels got a little bit of a lip. Excuse me. So I think that came out pretty nice. Whoa. All right, that didn't work out so good. So, kind of get an idea of the front tire footprint there. So this got 315, 30, 18s all the way around it now. The pictures I got here. A picture of the front wheel. I think it came out real nice. See if I can zoom in a little bit here. There's a little bit better. It's gonna work out real well. But now I can work on ride heights and all that stuff. And now we can envision the car sitting the way it's supposed to sit when it's finished. So there's a good shot at the front wheel lip and the rear wheel lip. So you can see it does have a bit of wheel lip on the rims. The centers on these CCW wheels are pretty thick, so even though the offset on the rear wheel is 6 3/4 on an 11-inch wheel, the honeycomb or the center core of the wheel is very thick, so it still didn't put quite as much of a dish in the wheel as I thought, but I'm still real happy with the outcome. A good view of the front tire. So with the 315s on there, it's got quite a footprint on it, so it's going to be really nice for autocross and stuff like that. Here's a picture of the rear wheels. Footprint is completely wider than the body kit, so it's going to be real nice when it's all together properly. Good shot at the rear footprint there. I really dig the way it came out. I think it's going to be really cool. Looks much better with the taillights in the sockets there, like they're supposed to be. I don't know what that picture is kind of blurry. back. French, I guess if I can. There, we kind of got rid of the shop light there. So I don't know what you guys think. Like the tail lights, this side is without the molding. That's the right side is with the molding. I'm gonna have to work on the left one to get a good clean molding for it. But let me know what you guys think about whether I should delete the molding or keep the molding. So that was pretty much the new update on that. You know, I guess it is what it is. But yes, that worked out real well, and we'll keep pushing forward on that thing. You know, we got a year to, not quite a year. We have about 10 months to get that thing as a running roller. So I'll keep pushing on that and see what we can come up with on there, and you know, we'll go from there. So the next update is on the Cup car. I've been trying to find a good transmission for that. I'm working on, I've got a rear end for it. It's a road course rear end, so it's got negative camber on both sides. The rear end that's in the housing that's in the car now has got a degree of positive on the left wheel and 3/4 of a degree negative on the right rear wheel. Really good for turning left, not so much for turning right. But I did locate a Roush housing that's, I believe he said it was 0.6 or 0.7 negative on both sides, equal. And I just haven't been able to coordinate shipping on that housing yet, but we got that coming. That's secured. The guy, you know, told me it's guaranteed. It's my housing, so we'll keep working on that. But we need to do something with the transmission. I've had this Sagnol iron case 4-speed in there that's kind of out of a 75 to 81 Camaro or Corvette. It's an okay street transmission, but obviously it's not made for racing. It's synchronized, so the shifts have to be done in a decent manner. You can't slam the gears, and of course before we had the clutch not disengaging fully, so it was a real cluster at LS Fest. But since then I have readjusted the clutch clearance, and now it works properly and it will shift like an everyday car will shift. So I was looking for a good dog box, actual racing, road racing style transmission, NASCAR style transmission. As I said before, on Facebook, I found one in Marketplace. The guy was in Colorado. I wasn't 100% sure on him. I think I showed pictures last week of some of the cars that he sent pictures of. Ended up, figuring out that he was a legit seller, and went ahead and purchased the transmission, and it arrived Friday while I was up in Orlando. So let me show you the pictures of the transmission. So there's the I don't know, I think music still playing in the background. I apologize about that. If the music was still playing, I'm sorry about that. If you guys hear anything weird going on, please put it in the comments, because sometimes I don't know what's going out out to you guys. Hopefully you heard what I was talking about on the Vet Hawk. Well, that was a mess. Anyway, so here's the transmission that I purchased. It's a Tex Racing T101A, which basically is a copy or overbuild of a Borg Warner Super T10. So they took the Super T10 components and made it heavier duty castings, better shifting side covers, forks, and all the internals. So Tex Racing was like the standard transmission used in NASCAR, and everything worked good for those guys. So you know, they built those, and then eventually they went to a dog box transmission. And what a dog box! Let me see if there's just an up close picture of the side cover. I guess we'll go through the slides here first. There's the input. You can see very thick front case with multiple patterns, so it would fit either a GM bell housing or a Ford Chrysler bell housing. 26 spline, which is a standard GM late model input shaft. All the shafts are made out of heavy duty material. Real good unit. Tail shaft. You can see that the shifter box is moved over, so that's going to put the shifter back into the center location. Again, aftermarket output shaft material, and it uses a 32 spline, so that's like a turbo 400 type yoke. And they always put these retainers on there to keep the seals from blowing out. Very, very clever idea. You can see it's got multiple inputs and outputs for oil. You have big, AN8 for vent hose, and you can hook up a pump in this section. And it's got a oiling shaft in there where you can put oil into the case if you want. And you get your fill and your drain on the side. And there is the dog box, what they would call a dog box. So let me just zoom in here a little bit. So a couple things you can see here. First of all, there's a center support in the shaft, so that keeps the gears from trying to pull apart, makes it handle much more horsepower than what a standard T10. A standard T10 transmission is good for about maybe 450 horsepower, maybe 500. But again, it's synchronized, and all the gears are helical cut. So in the Tex Racing gearbox that's labeled T101A, the A signifies straight cut dog box. And so the gears are straight cut, and instead of synchros, they have these hubs. They have dogs on them. That's why they call it a dog box, or a faceplate is another name of this style transmission. If anybody's had a motorcycle transmission apart, this is how the motorcycle transmissions are. So all you have to do, the fork slides this ring with the dog face on there, and it interlocks with these dog faces. So you can see that there's only like 6 or 8 dogs on each one, so there's a lot of gap, so it allows the gear change to be made very quickly, and it doesn't have to be perfectly aligned like a regular 4-speed transmission with a synchronizer. I think we talked about this a couple shows ago, that a synchronizer actually is a brake. So when you shift the synchronizing hub, it hits the synchronizing ring, which actually has a brake to stop the next gear from spinning to allow the hub to lock into that gear. So a lot has to happen to make the shift into the next gear fully seated. Where this, you just snap the shifter as hard as you can, and you don't have to use a clutch. All you have to do is lift and tap off the gas and right back on the gas as you make the shift, and it's completely a clutchless shift. On a downshift, all you have to do is get on the brakes, lift off the throttle, tap the throttle as you make the shift, and it'll go into the next gear. Very rapid style of shifting. Cool features of these things are that all these gear ratios are all completely interchangeable. So you can, I think they have 300 different gear ratios that you can change from. So obviously the drive gears are on shafts, so those are replaceable easily. But on a standard 4-speed transmission, the counter shaft is normally one shaft with 4 gears on it, driven gears, and they can't be changed or serviced individually. If you break a driven gear, you have to replace the entire cluster shaft. But on a racing transmission, this rear gear is part of the shaft, and then these 3 here are installed with snap rings, so you can just slide them off. That's why this long keyway cut is here. You can slide these off and interchange these and change the gear ratios to whatever you want to change them to. And if you happen to damage a certain gear in there, you can just slide that one off and put a new one on there. So very good transmission, very rugged. This transmission is rated at 1,000 horsepower wheel. So obviously a NASCAR motor or my LS fake Ford motor, 750 horsepower, 700 horsepower will be no problem at all. This transmission will live a good long time. So now with this transmission, we actually have a race transmission in a race car that we can autocross with and track attack or go to regular road course racing races and race and be able to get around the track and not have to worry about exploding the transmission. Now on a drag race transmission, the only difference would be on the DXL side, it would be a lot longer and it has a ramp so that when you make the shift, it ejects the gear ejects the dog ring from the gear you were upshifting from to the next gear to help make the shifts even faster. But we need DXL. We need to be on DXL, so that's why the dog rings are here. Now, this 4th gear piece here has got a small ramp on there. I'm not 100% sure yet if that is purpose, because 4th is your highest gear, so you're not gonna DXL in 4th. You're gonna downshift. So I believe this is a factory piece to help downshift quicker in the 3rd. I'm gonna talk to G-Force, who now owns Tex Racing, and talk to him about that. Make sure that's okay. If not, if it isn't, we just have to replace this ring because the dogs on the 4th gear look good. So that's what kind of made me think that is normal for that slight ramp there. So I will look into that, but pretty much this gear transmission is ready to go in the car. There's the dog ring holders. So where normally on a normal synchronizing, you'd have one shaft and then you'd have a fork that floats and it twists and you can move them around. But because we're moving the entire dog ring out of one gear into the next gear, they double shaft it, so this dog ring fork stays perfectly perpendicular. It's very important, so that way it allows it to go in and out of the gears properly. So that's a big change from a normal 4-speed. But typically you can go to a company like G-Force and you can buy a dog box gear set to go into other trains. You can do it for T56, TR6060, T5s, 3650s. So they make these setups for other transmissions besides just these. And then of course they also make purpose-built 5-speeds and 4-speeds for different applications. But very robust transmission, and it's something we've been looking forward to getting in the car. So obviously reverse is back here. This section of the case is black. It may be magnesium. I haven't put a file to it yet to see if it is magnesium. And you can see here how thick the faceplate of the transmission is. O-ring mount for the side cover. All these threads have metal thread inserts, helicoil inserts. So and all the all the hardware is drilled for safety wire. Very rugged racing unit. These bolts up here are what holds that center support, and then of course this cover here would allow you to install a pump if you wanted to run a pump. So pretty cool stuff. The guy I bought it from did say that he ran it with this shifter. This shifter is just a Hurst shifter that's been modified, and it's missing the 3/4 shift linkage, which I've already ordered one for that. So that'll be a easy install. But besides that shift linkage and verifying that fourth gear dog ring, it's going to be ready to go in the trans in the car. So that'll be really good. Be really happy with that setup, and that'll be it's going to be really good for the car. So I don't know why this picture is so far off, but anyway. So I need to let me get out of here, and we want to get into the race report. That's probably what everybody wants to hear about. I did not get these in chronological order, so I think we're just gonna have to fly with it. Let me switch screens again, and well, first let's get a screen showing here. All right, so that's not important. Let me stop this. Okay, so let me get out of here and start at the beginning. Okay, that one doesn't want to do anything. All right, so we'll start off here. So I posted this picture up on Facebook. I haven't been saying anything on the channel, but I've been trying to get the old body at almost 62, trying to get her back in shape. So I've been working out on Peloton, spinning, and doing weights and stuff. Watching my fat intake, and trying to do a lot of exercising. And from basically this time last year, I've dropped 20 pounds, almost down to 185. And so I posted this picture on Facebook. So Friday morning, I walked around the track, 4 laps, which ended up being 6 miles. So I just threw this up on there. That was one of the pictures from the thing. So stop this. So Kenny Hubbard is the tuning guy and main crew chief on the Smurf car, and him and his daughter have cars they run in the drag radial scene. Lights Out in South Georgia, and they have 2 races up there, and then so Donna Long, the promoter, created a point series of about 5 or 6 races during the year. So the World Street Nationals in Orlando, which is the 31st year of that event, and it's always been a big pro mod, super street outlaw, all these different classes. And it's been a big, huge race for 31 years. So Donna Long got them to update some of the classes to the radial classes that he runs, which is Radial versus the World, Pro 275, LDR, which is limited drag radial, X 275, limited street, or Ultra Street, I'm sorry, Ultra Street, and then limited 235 radial. So those are his classes that he runs. There's different rules for different classes. Basically, the radial versus world is pro mods on radials with no wheelie bar. In fact, at that event, they had pro mod versus radial versus world. Number 1 and number 2 qualifiers raced off each other, and the radial versus world cars beat the pro mods in both rounds, and ended up taking home the little gambler pot that they had for that. So that's radial versus world. Pro 275 is so radial versus world can run any radial. I think they run like 295s and 315 radials. Pro 275 is basically the same thing on a 275/60 radial. And then you have LDR, which is a class where they have different combinations and weights, and they run a 290. You can run a 275 radial, or you can run the 295 street style radial. And then X275, again, it's a class with different rules, different weights and stuff. So they try to keep all the power out of it. So you can run nitrous, turbo, or supercharger or procharger, and they have different weights for each category. And then Ultra Street, same thing, but they're on a radial racing street tread, and that's what Kyla runs. So Kenny runs a 74 Nova, and his car has a 470-inch small block with a procharger, and his car runs 390s in the 8th mile, so it's pretty darn fast. And right now he's running the 295 radial racing street tread, and his daughter runs Ultra Street, which is a lesser class. It's a step down class, and her car, she's running a 500-inch big block with a single plate nitrous kit on it. So Kenny was running X275 with his car, and had to be a little heavier than the LDR car, and he won both the 22 and 23 X275 champion, or was the champion of that class 2 years in a row, and won multiple races. So he decided to step up to the next class, LDR, and got the car lighter, and he's done well there. He won the Steel Alabama event, and we're trying to win the event this weekend. So this is Kyla's car. She's got a Nova. I mean, a Monte. I believe our first hit on the car on Thursday. And that was just a quick hit. And she got out of it nicely. And this was the second hit. We had a little issue with something shutting off during the run. That's why you see here, you can see the car, typical radial car, the rear end pushes down out of the car, so it picks the back of the car up, and it's running, and then you'll see it just kind of squat. There it squats. So the car's out of power. So we had to do some work on that, trying to figure out what was going on there. Nighttime. This was our first round of qualifying. That was a little burnout there. Oh. Well, I guess I didn't get that run. Okay, so they're out of order. Sorry. Get my cursor here. So Kenny was also tuning Al Capone. Al Capone's a 69 Camaro, big block. It may even be a Hemi with a procharger on it, and so this was their one of their shakedown runs. And you can see here the chatter marks on the ground. It shook the tires. Unfortunately, those guys got to the track late, so they weren't actually able to to do a lot of testing, so we were kind of behind the 8 ball in that car. So here's Kenny's LDR car, and you can see small block. Well, you can't really tell it's a small block. It's a small block with a Pro Charger in the front. I believe his car's got to be 2520 for the class. And there's the front of Kyla's car. And then you can notice there's a hole in the front of her car. It used to have a small block with the Pro Charger in it also. But this year they switched to a nitrous big block, figuring it was a better package for the rules for the Ultra Street deal. So this was Friday night. Yes, Friday night. Kenny made a pass with his car, and the bearing on the Pro Charger went bad. And what happened when the bearing lets go is you get a lot of play in this shaft, and what happens is the impellers touch down on the case. You can see where the case is worn all around here, and the blades are all beat up. So that's what they call a touchdown. Not a good thing to happen. Let's see, where's the other picture? Sorry, these pictures are all out of whack. All right, let me go back. Sorry. So there's what the Pro Charger looks like when it's in good shape. You can see there is a very tight clearance between the blades and the housing. So when that bearing starts to go bad, it's very easy for the impeller to touch down and then create a lot of havoc. So we had that issue Friday night, which meant we had to rebuild the engine. It doesn't really damage the engine too much, but it puts an aluminum covering on everything in the intake track. So the intake manifold is full of aluminum dust everywhere around the throttle blade, the blow-off valves, injectors, nozzles everywhere. Obviously in the intake ports. It can cause problems on the valve seats for the intake and exhaust valves, because as they're opening and closing, they're catching this aluminum components in between the two, so it kind of beats the seats up a little bit. And obviously it fills the cylinders with aluminum particles also. So being that Kenny runs this combination, he's already aware of how it all works, so he keeps a spare supercharger and spare rack of pistons and rods already ready to go. So we knocked it apart, cleaned everything out very well, got all the aluminum particles out, put a new set of pistons in, changed the cylinder heads out to the spares, and put the new supercharger on, and he was ready to go again. So we did a little bit of work on Friday night. I think we started on it at about 10:30 after the first. That was the second round of qualifying, third pass of qualifying, and we lit the car off all back together at about 2:45 in the morning. So she was all good to go, ready to go racing.
Chad Henderson making his move.
There's I think this was Saturday qualifying run. That was a clean pass, and it was a 462. Let me get back there. I didn't get a chance to edit these things, so. But yeah, it looks like a 464. Can't see the speed because of the flag in front of it. And like I said, he's right out of order. This was going up the first round on Saturday. Getting ready to make our first elimination run on Sunday. This is for our first elimination run on Sunday. It's a little video I did on Facebook, and made it shorts on the channel. So here's our qualifying orders. So this is limited street, limited drag radial, and there's Kenny, was number 5 qualifier with a 394 with a 2, 185.33. So that was his qualifying position. He was going to be running this guy L. Smith. There you can see number 1 qualifier Jamie Hancock, 387 with a 6. So Kenny was just off a little bit from him. The car has gone that fast, but unfortunately we were chasing stuff and just we're a little bit behind on the 8 ball, but we were catching up on it. So it would have been a good run. We pretty sure we would have we'd have won that round, and then we would have, then we'd have picked up some speed, hopefully got back into the 80s, and we would have gone farther. But of course we had some issues there. I'll talk about that in a minute. There's a nice picture of Kyla's car doing a burnout. That was Kyla's qualifying time. All right, so I missed. Where's the other qualifying sheet? I don't know how I missed the other qualifying sheet. Huh. Okay. Sure, I just was showing. So here was I only got one shot of the pro line. Busy in the pits most of the time. That's the same reason why I didn't get any pictures of Kenny's car going down the track, because I was working on Kyla's, and they were 2 classes apart. So Kenny would be going up to the lanes while we're still getting Kyla's car ready to go to the stage lane. So kind of kept us busy hopping. Wasn't really ready to, or able to get all the videos that I wanted to get, but oh shit. Let me see here. Try to see if I can find that other qualifying sheet. Oh, I don't know what that is. All right, so I guess I missed on that other qualifying sheet, but Kyla had qualified number 3, so with the 455. And you can see how limited LDR, they're running 380s, and then in Ultra, they're running 450s. One car broke into 440s, so you can kind of see the how they had the rules set up to each class is running in a different speed. So we'll see. I'm getting an error from Facebook. Hopefully that gets caught back up. Okay, so anyhow, that was our race weekend. Didn't get as much video. Oh, so the end result of it is that we got rained out on Sunday. So all the radial classes were able to make first round. Kenny won his first round. Kyla ended up with a bye run. She won first round, and then the rain came in at about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and it kind of drizzled on and off. Then got heavier around 3. And then went back to drizzling, and then it never stopped till 6 o'clock that night. So they called the race, broke up the, divvied up the purses to all the cars that were still in the event, and that was it. So we packed up and and I ended up getting home about 12:30 at night on Monday morning. So that was the big race report. I apologize for not having the videos in better chronological order, and I didn't, for some reason, I misplaced the elimination sheet for Kyla. So I apologize. Try to do better next time. Actually, I can probably do a quick rehash next week if you guys are interested. So as far as that goes, this week I'm gonna do a major shop clean. The shop is trash from thrashing between all this racing that I've been gone to. So hopefully we'll get that straightened out. I'm gonna try to get the Dave's Chevelle fired up here this week, and get Joe to bring the Camaro back in, finish that up, and then hopefully the week following I'll be able to get Bert's Gremlin in here and get the engine swapped on that thing. That'll be good to get that turbo straight 6 engine together. That'd be good to finish up that video set on the channel. Try to do some more shorts on some of the stuff we got going on here. And eventually, I hope I can get caught up where I can start getting some full videos done. I'm way behind on that, so we'll try to get caught up on that. I don't know why. I'm hoping that the show is still showing. It's not looking good on my. I had it on the TV above me. I mean, it looks like it's off, so I don't know what that's all about. So hopefully it's still playing. I see on the studio that there's still 6 people on, and we had 41 views. So I see that, but I see it's still pausing every now and then. I don't know. I got everything else shut off that's on this computer, so I don't know why we would be using up any bandwidth unless Xfinity is messing me up on the upload. So we'll check on that. We'll see what's going on there. That's pretty much all I have, being I was out of town and everything. Oh yeah, see, now it just went to it. It blinked and came back. So I don't know. Okay, so looks like the TV show, it's showing back on the TV, but it is buffering pretty bad. So I don't know what's going on with that. Also, I had to reconnect on YouTube. It said there was some maybe I had a password breach or something, so it made me reset passwords before I got the show hooked up tonight, which that kind of was why I was behind. So when I re-hooked up the OBS studio that I actually filmed the live shows on, it looks like it monetized the video immediately, which I usually don't show the videos monetized at first. So I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to watch it and see if it put commercials in there, because that's not what I wanted to do. So I'll have to work on that. Let me know in the chats if anybody's still on. It's not on TV. On a TV, if you were getting commercial breaks and stuff like that. Because if so, I'm gonna turn that back off. I didn't want that on. I mean, for the replays, yeah, you didn't come and see it live. You don't get, you get to see commercials. But for the live people, I didn't want them to have the disruptions of commercial breaks. So we'll work on that. Yeah, I see that the TV is still buffering pretty bad. So I guess I'm gonna have to do some work this week and see if I can figure out why that's going on. I apologize. for that. Not something in my that I have. It's doing it on my end. I don't know. The OBX Studio shows it's playing fine, so I don't know why it's dropping frames, but we'll work on that. I'm not going to be traveling now for a while till Thanksgiving, so it's saying something about turning down the video. All right, so I'll have to look in the settings. Maybe I've got the video at too high of a quality, so we'll try that next week. I'll do some testing this week and see if I can figure out why this is doing all this. Yeah, so didn't really have too much tech stuff for you this week. If you're racing, I guess some of the tech stuff to take away. If you're racing, you have an engine that's like Kenny's, where the possibility of having issues during a race is elevated with the Pro Charger, then you need to have all the components to service the engine in between rounds so that you can still have a shot at winning an event, rather than just tearing up the engine for some reason and then having to pack up and go home without even having a shot of still winning the race. So that's always a good thing. You always want to do all the stuff you can to minimize downtime. I was talking with Chris this week. He got his Nova running, got the fuel cell in and all that. Had some issues with bleeding the clutch, and may have a small rear main seal leak, so he's pulling the trans back out. So again, there's a point where proper planning. So on the GM style T56 and TR6060, or anytime you have a hydraulic throwout bearing that is inside the bell housing, to bleed it, it's a real hard job. So you should always add a external bleed hose to it. Makes it much easier to bleed the clutch once the transmission is installed. From the factory, on the GM ones, there's a little hex that comes up to the surface of the bell housing, and you got to put a socket down in the hole and crack it open and close to bleed the clutch. But unfortunately, you have a socket over the bleeder, so you really can't see if any air is coming out, and it ends up putting a bunch of brake fluid in the bell housing and making a mess of everything. So if you get a remote bleeder hose kit and you put that in line, now the bleeder is outside the bell housing, very easy to bleed. You can put it where you can get to it. You can put it up, depending on how long the hose is, you can put it up towards the master cylinder. So when you gravity bleed, obviously the air is going to go to the highest point. So that means the air is going to all come out the bleed hose. So that's something that makes the job way easier. So that's kind of the tech tip for tonight, is try to look at components as you're assembling your car and what you could do to make it easier to work on once the car is assembled. Any car that's got a hydraulic clutch in it, you're going to have to be bleeding the components often, and because you want, with the heat in there, you're going to want to definitely change the fluid on a routine basis, because with the heat of the clutch from being on track, the fluid's going to get hot and cold, which then gives it the opportunity to absorb moisture condensation from the temperature changes. So you definitely want to go back and service the fluids in a certain interval. So a remote bleed hose will make that job much easier to do. Same with your brake fluid. Whenever you track a car like that, you need to change the brake fluid, do a flush replacement often to make that all work out good. So I think that's about all I got tonight. It's almost 8, and this thing it showed it was working good. Now it went back into error again. So I'm gonna work on that. I apologize. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm going to be in the shop now for the next couple weeks, so try to get a show, a better timed show, and I'll get some more tech information out to you guys, and we'll go from there. So I think we're going to go ahead and call it a night for tonight. Thank you for everybody that came in, stopped by. It looks like we had about 52 people on during they were in and out during the show. So I don't know, if we had the sound problem earlier on when I was showing the Vet Hawk stuff. So I'll go back and watch this, and maybe we'll show some of that stuff over again, or update anyway. So anyway, we'll go ahead and say goodnight. Hope everybody has a great week. Have a great week, and we'll get back together next week. See you all next Tuesday. Remember, hit the like buttons for the algorithm, subscribe, hit the bell for instant notifications, leave comments. Even if you're watching this video after, leave comments, and we'll discuss them on the next show. So really appreciate everybody that showed up on the chat. And I do need to give you guys updates on the swag. I was out of town, so I will get with Nick, and I will give you guys updates next Tuesday on that. So again, we'll see everybody next week. See ya.